Meet the newest entry in the pretty extensive, at this point, roster of Lord of the Rings video games. Whether they be some older releases, some mobile releases, or more so like the major console releases, which I believe this is going to be one of them. I'm pretty sure. But, you know, I'm a fan of those, at least some of the ones that released over the past couple years. Now, obviously, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I think I've mentioned that before as well. You know, I've seen the films. I read the Hobbit book. I really liked the movies, by the way. I mean, the third one isn't perfect, but still enjoyable. But I think the Lord of the Rings films, the extended versions, nonetheless, are absolutely fantastic. I mean, the theatrical versions too, but the extended versions are the way to watch it, and they're really fun. I mean, again, I will say, though, full honesty, I've not read the Lord of the Rings books. I have to go and do that. I read, you know, The Hobbit as part of a school class years ago, but I've seen the movies and I've played the video games. I mean, they're absolutely a lot of fun. I mean, actually, my first entrance into the Lord of the Rings universe, you know, funny enough, maybe some people are like, well, I read the books. Well, I didn't. My first entrance was through the Lego Lord of the Rings video game, which I still love to this day. It's just such a classic game. And then the Middle-earth games, I know some people look at those being like, well, they're not exactly canon. They're still fun, though. I mean, come on, they're excellent games. Monolith is a really good developer. I love what they did with that game. They're both fantastic plays. And I own both. Both the extensive version, like the Game of the Year for the first one, the definitive. Oh, they're fabulous. I know they're, in some capacities, lore rewriting, but hey, I mean, I at least enjoyed the gameplay, and the story for its own, you know, merits is enjoyable. But we have a new entry, it seems, into this run. So imagine maybe if you consider Middle-earth games, I don't know if this is attached to that at all, if this is some separate thing. This is coming from a different studio. This isn't Daedalic Entertainment, no, this isn't Monolith, this is Daedalic Entertainment, who I've seen, you know, past games through, not unattached franchises, but like the Suicide of Rachel Foster's, that was theirs, and that looked like it had a lot of artistic potential. I haven't played it yet, but I want to. But let's take a look at the Lord of the Rings Gollum and see how their handling is over the Lord of the Rings brand. Maybe better than Amazon's. Just have to work that in. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the synopsis first. This is according to IMDb. Based on The Lord of the Rings, the game's story follows the lesser explored character of Gollum before the events of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I don't know if this is going to happen like the Smeagol character, but I mean, it could. I'm not sure exactly what they mean either, too. Do they mean like this fits better in with the books or the movies? Again, I imagine because at least I'm seeing a picture of Gollum, it fits in with the film narrative, so that's kind of what they mean. It fits into the film chronology. And maybe you can consider Middle-earth, you know, that way, if you want to view it like that. And maybe, you know, this is in no way disparaging, but if you're like, because I know, as I said, you know, Middle-earth is maybe not looked at with the most favorable of eyes by like Tolkien purists, to which maybe I kind of am in spirit, but I still enjoyed the Middle-earth games. But I also understand I don't have the foundation that many other people do at that point of reverence with the franchise, or the story overall. Even though, again, I can certainly find agreement with them going forward. At least in some of the future efforts. Again, we'll get to Amazon later, not in this video. We'll look at Gollum on its own. We're going to go ahead and watch the initial teaser first. This came out a year ago. Apologies, I'm so behind. And we're going to talk about it more in my condensed review segment. Fon's watching the video together. Again, not to the fault of Gollum. It's just I've got a lot of coverage to go through. But let's go ahead and give us a look. Better late than never, right? It's not out yet either, I don't think. Here we go. So I'm technically still ahead. Again, I haven't seen too much from Daedalic Entertainment, but what I've seen, I've been impressed by. Ooh, it's got like that orchestral feel. The chicken scratch on the wall. Yeah, it's Gollum. Ah, the cave image. I guess a different one, but same style like what you've seen previously. His body looks a bit differently shaped from the previous releases. Maybe, again, this could just be the style of the game as it's formatted. Hey, it's a cool logo, by the way. I like it. And no notes on where this is releasing. They don't specify that here. Or maybe they didn't know at the time when they put this teaser out again. This one's really old. Obviously, the familiar look to a Lord of the Rings world with Mount Doom. And that cave image, again, is very reminiscent of where you saw Gollum previously with the Hobbit movies. Anybody else feel like Gollum's head is a bit out of proportion with his body? Like, it almost feels like... do I want to pull up a picture of Gollum from... Let me see. I'm going to see if I can pull up a picture here of Gollum from the movies. Again, I just get this feeling that it's slightly different. Let me get it queued up here. Okay, by comparison. Well... No, it looks off. I have to be honest. I'm watching the trailer going like, it looks... It just seems a bit too large, if you know what I mean. If you're familiar, again, with the Gollum look from the films, which I believe this is attached to, at least in intention. I mean, the rest of the body looks similar to what we saw previously in terms of the shape, but maybe just the angle. And again, this is early days. I could have fixed it up, but when he turns his head, he looks fine. Hey, look, it's the Crows, too. They were in the Hobbit movies. I remember that. And The Lord of the Rings, too, to be fair. The first one. Maybe, I think it's just when he turns his face. Maybe it's just that particular shot in the way he's angled and framed against a rock wall. Maybe the way he's just kind of displayed on the screen in his position. But his head just looked a bit too large and out of proportion to me from what we see in the movies previously. I don't know. Anybody else see that, or am I just seeing things? I mean, we'll look at more recent teasers now. I think they'll give me a little bit of a better look. But it looks like it has the overall Lord of the Rings feel. You can see the Eye of Sauron in the background, too. So there's the familiar elements. We'll see what happens. Again, I imagine this is going to be an original story combining familiar elements of lore that we have from, Tolkien's works. We'll see what happens with the future of Gollum as I go forward and looking at it. But what are your guys' thoughts of the game? Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Don't forget all the good stuff, like, subscribing, and sharing that bell. Until we get to look at more from this particular release. Maybe a better release in comparison to other future endeavors of the Lord of the Rings franchise. Again, we'll get to Amazon later. I will see you guys at whatever point that happens to be. But for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Don't forget to love yourselves, your fellow man. God bless, and peace.